Hey besties, welcome back to the channel or the Patreon or wherever this may land. We're back. This is part 2 to Surviving Diddy. You guys seem to be enjoying part 1. So something that was brought to my attention about part 1 actually was the Stevie J pictures. The alleged Stevie J pictures. Apparently it's not him. It's a gay star named Knockout or something like that. So I don't know. I don't know why a lawyer would allow fake pictures to be put into the lawsuit. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, that would literally remove all credibility from a lot of what Mr. Jones was saying. So, I don't know. I'm a little confused, but I don't know. I'm just here to report the news. I just think this is interesting. It's something, I was saying in part 1, a lot of it felt like it was more about the money, and maybe him not being paid correctly was the only reason we even heard about any of this. Who knows? But I do believe a lot of what was said. I'm sorry. I know. I don't put anything past these people, man. But yeah, we are here. Part 2. I clearly already got into the oregano. So I need it for this, man. Like, this stuff it's a lot. Like, whether it's true or not, reading it and sitting here, like, going through it is a lot. I don't know. Too many pieces. It's just so weird that would be, like, allowed to just slip in there. And, like, what happened with this case? There's so many moving pieces. I really just wanted to read the documents because everybody kept asking me if I read them. So I was like, all right, let me just read them. Because I didn't even read the Cassie documents. I mean, like, I saw, like, pieces of it and, like, excerpts. But that's why you didn't really even see me talk much about it, because I didn't read it myself. But I believe her. I believe him. How do we know? Because even, like, in the screenshots, we couldn't, if he wouldn't have came out, Knockout, and said, that's me, how do we know that he still wasn't shown the video and told it was Stevie J, though? Just like we were. Like, I don't know. But, I'm not here to make excuses for it. I really want to get into these next pages. We left off on page 34, so I will pull that up. Make sure you got your wine, your water, or your rolling tray, or whatever you need to tune in with me while we get into part 2 of this Diddy tea. Allegedly. Allegedly. Like, who are you to close off Earth? For legal reasons, if any kids are watching, you're working out. Yeah, I think this is where we left off, right? Jose Cruz intentionally hides behind the camera and from social media, behind the internet, due to all of the incriminating acts he was required to record for Mr. Combs. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Defendants have unlawfully increased their profits by luring and deceiving producers, musicians, writers, creators, and artists such as plaintiff to transport drugs, transport firearms, solicit minors, exotic dancers, workers, and to utilize their talents and labor to produce music and other tangible goods and services without compensation. So you don't even care that he got y'all transporting and minors and women and all of that it's without the correct compensation. How dare you have me doing all of this stuff for you? You're not paying me right. What? This is what I'm saying. Everybody's guilty. Like, listen. Like, I don't know what Mr. Little Rod Jones thought that he was doing with this, but now we looking at you crazy, because what are you, anyway. The members of the RICO enterprise all share a common purpose: to enrich themselves financially and at the expense of producers, musicians, writers, creators, and artists by maximizing defendants' revenues through fraudulent means. As set forth herein, defendants benefited financially from their scheme to defraud plaintiff by intimidating plaintiff with threats of violence, threatening to eat plaintiff's face, displaying and distributing guns in plaintiff's presence, bragging about having law enforcement under control, bragging about murdering people, bragging about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case concerning 1999 shooting with Shine, threats of isolation from the music industry and entertainment industry, parading powerful music industry executives such as defendants Lucian Charles Grange, Ethiopia, and his parties filled with workers, minors, and illegal threats of non-payment for work completed, fake promises of cash payments, producer of the year, Grammy Awards, and guaranteed access to future projects and a $20 million home in Star Island, Miami. Again, everything that was done, I don't really care. Where's my money? The members of the RICO enterprise all share a common purpose: to enrich themselves financially and at the expense of producers. Okay, we went over that. The defendants benefited financially from their schemes to defraud plaintiff, including by making false representations that claim that loyalty and obedience to Mr. Combs will result in cash payments. So again, you were loyal to him and did all this because you thought you were guaranteed cash. Upon information and belief, this RICO enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to the 1999 nightclub shooting in NYC, when Mr. Combs required his then-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, to transport his illegal firearm into the nightclub. Mr. Combs forced his then-artist, Shine, to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. Mr. Combs used his power, money, and influence to bribe jurors and witnesses, such as the friend of the shooting victim, who reported to law enforcement that she saw Mr. Combs and not Shine pull the trigger and shoot her friend in the face. Natania Rubin later testified at Mr. Combs' criminal trial that she was trying to tie her shoe and may not have seen who shot the gun. She later confessed that Mr. Combs paid her. The RICO enterprise continued throughout the years, including during Mr. Combs' 10-year relationship with his girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. According to Ms. Ventura's civil complaint, this RICO enterprise continued in her relationship when Mr. Combs forced her to carry his gun in her purse, forced her to engage in unwanted acts with male prostitutes, sex workers, paying a number of his security team $5,000 to blow up the vehicle of Kid Cudi because he was jealous and insecure of their relationship. And Kid Cudi said this was true. So, everything can't be a lie. And I saw so many people trying to discredit everything now just because of the Stevie J thing, and I just don't think that's fair. And y'all know, I literally, once again, I tweeted, I said a lot of things are being exposed in 2024, but that also means that there will be a lot of distractions put out to confuse you. Discernment will be a major key these next few months. I tweeted that December 31st, 2023. We were going into the new year. That was the first download that I got. Once 2024 hits, we are getting truth after truth after truth, expose after expose. And what has happened? We have the Dan Schneider thing coming out now, him and Brian Peck. Now everybody wants to talk about that after YouTube limited my video. Let's talk about the Nickelodeon Creep Club. Yes, there's a Nickelodeon Creep Club. First we have Azelle Channel. He worked at Nickelodeon, was convicted of molesting a child while working at Nickelodeon. Then we have Brian Peck. You might know his name because he was one of the main people that was like outed after being convicted. He ran a comedy boot camp with Dan Schneider. Brian Peck, he worked on all that. He was convicted of a child while working at Nickelodeon. And then after they fired him, I don't even know if it was like fired, they let him go, still paid him, and he went on to Disney Channel to work on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Then we have Marty Weiss. His clients worked on several shows and he was convicted for assaulting his client. Jason Handy, production assistant on All That and The Amanda Show, another convicted pedophile. Nothing I said on there was wrong. Again, like I'm so tired. Like they keep blocking me and like all this misinformation and it's crazy. And then it comes out and it's like, oh, guess it wasn't misinformation. All the people that say that nothing happened, they get paid to say that it didn't happen. And we clearly see that the news people get paid, the cops get paid, everybody's getting paid to spin a narrative. And as long as their payment is good and it's going through, they're going to keep doing that until they get tired. Then some people want to clear their conscience too. Like it's a lot. But everybody can't be lying. The RICO enterprise continued from September 2022 to the present day, as evidenced by the hundreds of hours of videos and audio recordings in plaintiff's possession. A lot of this is just repeating what we saw at the top and just like longer. As described above, Mr. Combs frightened and placed plaintiff in apprehension of harm when he physically assaulted him from October 2022 to October 2023 in Mr. Combs' home in Miami. And I feel like it's a lot, like as a man, to come out and say like, this man assaulted me. Like, I don't think that you're just gonna say that for the payout. Like, you know, I don't think that. But I do think he let a lot of stuff go on for so long because he was promised the payout. But yeah, I don't think like this whole lawsuit is just one big lie because he wanted to get paid. Like, I feel like that's a lot. I don't know. And some people were saying that the pictures weren't Cuba Gooding Jr. Like, I literally zoomed in and everything. They're him. I'm telling you, this whole Stevie J thing is like trying to discredit the entire lawsuit. But I don't know. Mr. Combs forcibly touched and attempted to and or threatened to touch plaintiff's intimate areas and or touched plaintiff with his own intimate body parts. Mr. Combs acted with conscious disregard for plaintiff's rights and feelings, acted with the knowledge of or with reckless disregard for the fact that his conduct was certain to cause injury or humiliation to the plaintiff. So yeah, pretty much everything that was said above. Yeah, so literally while I was in the middle of editing part one, a bunch of people started tagging me in this. So let's watch it. It says a link between the Diddy case and the death of Michael Jackson.
Did you know that the head of Diddy's security, while he was actually blackmailing the entire rap industry, was also the exact same guy that was the head of Michael Jackson's security when he died? This is no joke. Some smart people in the comments section pointed this out to me. This is from Diddy's lawsuit. This is his head of security, Fahim Muhammad. And Mr. Combs, P. Diddy, made it clear that his head of security, Fahim Muhammad, had the power to make people and problems disappear. No arrests ever happened. It all went away. And it says here, quote, "This was all thanks to Mr. Muhammad's connections with law enforcement." But then, when you start looking up Fahim Muhammad, you quickly realize that yes, he was the head of security for Michael Jackson. This is a picture from him testifying in court about Michael Jackson's death. And when you listen to that testimony, you discover that he was the second person on the scene. He says that when he entered the room, the doctor was there, apparently trying to give CPR to what looked like a dead Michael Jackson. And then Jackson's two kids arrived in the door and were sobbing and crying. But when you look deeper, it gets even weirder. In 2019, he co-founded Oasis, where this bio is from, which is his real estate investment company. And they turned a $40,000 investment into a $10 million real estate portfolio. The last article that comes up, there's a lot of articles about this one, is that he made news when he gave his 13-year-old son 40 acres of land for his birthday. And that 40 acres of land just so happens to be directly on the US-Mexico border. Maybe just a weird coincidence? But by the way, he has way more than just the acres he gave to his son. He has like 191 acres on that plot or something like that.
Why would traffickers need land next to the border?
And human traffickers out of business. Human traffickers and traffickers take advantage of the wide open areas between our ports of entry to smuggle thousands of young girls and women into the United States and to sell them into...
I was looking up Fahim, and where did I find another article about him? On Penn State, the Wharton School. He didn't attend it as a student, he was invited as a speaker. If you've been following along, you would know that the Wharton School comes up an awful lot when we're talking about intelligence agencies and people associated with the CIA and the FBI, etc. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. When did Michael Jackson die? June 25th, 2009. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose, caused by his doctor apparently. Why is a dude who just graduated college last year with a business and real estate degree the head of security for the king of pop, for Michael Jackson?
Y'all, we are living in the blacklist. That's like when they let Dembe, the right hand to Raymond Reddington, become an FBI agent. Like this is real life.
I think that's a little weird. Not to mention what we know about his actual skill set now, given this lawsuit. I'm sure he didn't learn that in real estate business school.
There's more. The Diddy lawsuit opens a whole new angle on Michael Jackson's death and life story. The more you look into music industry, the more you see this weird pattern. Everyone who steps out of line and starts speaking out about how artists are treated, about how executives manipulate the artists and abuse their power, every one of them are slandered, smeared, and sometimes even suicided. Probably all coincidences, though. How many coincidences until mathematically impossible?
Michael Jackson conspiracy theories are back on the table. P. Diddy's blackmail ring puts Michael Jackson's whole life story in a whole new light. We learned that his head of security while he's running this blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson died. And before we go to Michael Jackson, the most important part of the Diddy case to bring across is the fact that the record executives at the very top knew what P. Diddy was doing. And all evidence points to them supporting his operation. Let's revisit Michael Jackson. Starting in 1993, Michael Jackson was repeatedly accused of inappropriate things with children. And most of us eventually took that story and were like, okay, that's messed up. Michael Jackson's a bad dude. Without necessarily taking into account the way that the press had been smearing him in really messed up ways for years. And then a bunch of documentaries were made before and after his death, smearing him left, right, and center. But the Diddy lawsuit directly points out and reminds us that the people that own the record companies also own the media publishing businesses that can print the tabloids. That's how they offer record contracts to people and then get them to the top of the charts right away. That is, if they play ball, if you know what I mean.
What have we been talking about from day one? Oh my gosh.
But when you actually look into the evidence, the FBI were investigating Jackson for 10 full years, and they presented no evidence of criminal conduct on Jackson's part. The files have been declassified and you can view them yourself. They include a raid of his home where they confiscated all electronics. This is their ID number that you'll see. We're talking computers, hard drives, cell phones, where they say the amount of gigabytes. And then following are pages like this where they have the ID of the different devices and they all say nothing. Literally, they all say this. They found nothing. But that didn't stop the press from running made-up stories about how secret FBI files revealed that Jackson had paid millions in hush money to dozens of boys he had abused, despite the FBI files directly negating that statement. So they branded him as Wacko Jacko early on and just totally annihilated his public image. But what you might not have known is that that is a direct reference to a monkey, a fighting monkey, who was like a cartoon character, basically. His name was Jacko Macaco. And we could talk about how all the boys that accused him of things actually were in the middle of launching really successful entertainment industry careers when they made those allegations about what had allegedly happened to them when they were tiny children, despite having previously gone on their stand and under oath saying that nothing had ever happened. But that would just be a waste of time. One of the far more interesting and relevant claims is that Michael Jackson said a lot of things about Jewish people, particularly later in his career. And then he was smeared to all hell and back as an anti-Semite. Except that when you search YouTube for the actual original phone call recording, YouTube won't let you see it. You can't find it. Instead, they feed you a bunch of videos that are of this other phone call that seems to be his doctor that allegedly killed him, calling him when he was in the midst of heavy sedation and getting him to talk on the phone in slurred speech about how shitty his life was while he was completely up on drugs, that his doctor that was talking to him probably knew he was high.
And if y'all remember in my Matrix video and the Are We All Under Mass Hypnosis video, the MK Ultra, that video, that I said that they will literally give you a doctor, a therapist. And this is not to make people paranoid and say, don't go to the doctor, don't go get therapy. I'm not saying that. But when you're in this industry and you're in these situations where you're a threat or you're doing too much, they will give you a therapist, give you a doctor, give you someone who keeps you high, listens to you, takes everything that you're saying so that they can manipulate it. It's crazy. They really do these smear campaigns and they try to mess you up in your head. And that's why everybody's like, oh, everybody's so crazy. Kanye's crazy and this person's losing their mind. And it's they're not. They're literally doing this to them. And once again, I hate how everybody swept under the rug how Harley Pasternak had those text messages to Kanye telling him, if you ever want to see your kids again, stop doing all this stuff on Instagram or I'm gonna drug you. What?
And yes, Jackson did say that the probably referring to the Jews in the music industry are like leeches and that they took everything from him and that they did it on purpose. But when you look into those allegations or those insults, you realize that because of his will that was probably fake and filed right before his death. So the will was signed on July 7th in Los Angeles by 3 witnesses. But Jackson's family pointed out that he was in New York that day, and there's video proving it. So they changed their story. But the witnesses definitely saw it, and it was just in New York. Because of this will, John Branca...
And did y'all know that Michael Jackson was supposed to die in 9/11? I'm not even... I know that's so left field, but seeing 2002 and him saying he was in New York or whatever, he was supposed to die in 9/11. And ended up doing something else, and everybody's like, that's so amazing that he didn't go. I think that's crazy because we know who did 9/11. Patreon, that we have a whole 9/11 video on Patreon that we already talked about this, so we saw that how that played out. What? No. According to Michael Jackson's older brother Jermaine, the King of Pop schedule on September 11, 2001, included a morning meeting at the World Trade Center. Luckily, the musician overslept and missed the meeting, something he credited to a late-night chat with his mothers and siblings. They booked Michael Jackson to have a meeting the morning of 9/11, knowing what was about to happen. Knowing what was about to happen. And he overslept. Yo, all right. And
was put in charge of his estate, which included his net worth of $230 million, but far more importantly, his 50% share of Sony ATV worth $750 million. Yes, he was taking on Sony. He was going after the hand that feeds him. And when you look into John Branca, in 2003, Jackson fired Branca because he was siphoning money out of Jackson's accounts in collusion with Sony Music CEO Tommy Mottola and funneling it through a bunch of offshore
we know what he did to Mariah.
In the Caribbean. John Branca is Jewish, and Tommy Mottola is also Jewish. Plus, Tommy Mottola married Mariah Carey partway through his life when she was a young woman, and he was an old man. The vast majority of the power in the music industry is controlled by Jewish men. For most of Jackson's career, his head of security was Bill Bray, who was his mentor and basically his father. And the two were extremely close. Bill ran his security until he was 70 when he retired, and Jackson continued to pay his medical bills until he died at age 80. But then once Bill retired, Jackson was then protected by other security people that came and went. And he wound up with this guy who has direct connections to Diddy's sexual blackmail operations, who was directly complicit in covering up crimes for Diddy and covering up murders.
And how many times have I told y'all that they will do whatever they can to remove all love from around you, the people who actually care about you and protect you, and slide in someone. Or they'll just wait. Like, sometimes, if they're old, they'll just let, whatever. But they always slide someone in who does not have your best interest at heart, who can control what's going around and be in your ear and be close. Is so dangerous. And this is the industry that everybody's fighting to get into. And it's being exposed. It's breaking. It's literally crumbling. It's a new time. This is literally the time of the truth tellers. Everybody is coming forward. And again, you cannot get distracted by the other stuff, because with all the truth, there's going to be a bunch of lies. But a lot is unfolding. And our parents' generation and the generations before them, they let too much stuff slide. And they, got hypnotized by that whole satanic panic thing. And people still try to run that today. No, these people are what they are. They're showing you who they are. And when people show you who they are, you have to believe them.
This is the guy that was protecting Michael Jackson the day that he died. The day that he was overdosed on drugs after he was probably already asleep. And the only witnesses, there were no witnesses
the
to
first
the crime.
responder.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that this guy never got checked into as a suspect. I'm not trying to make any allegations. I'm just saying anyone can inject a dude with lots of propofol. So, knowing...
This is literally a scene straight out of Blacklist. It's so simple for them to literally just take a needle and inject someone and then say that they overdosed. We see that in other movies all the time. That's, oh my gosh, it's such an easy cop out. Oh my gosh. I really, these people are dangerous. This is sick.
Looking into this whole story of Michael Jackson, the one thing that I couldn't stop thinking about is, man, that sounds a lot like Kanye West. But that's probably just a coincidence.
Did I not just bring up Kanye? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I didn't even watch this video. I didn't even watch this video yet. I just bookmarked it because I saw that it had to do with Diddy and Michael Jackson, and I saw his first video. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. That was just a brief intermission about Michael Jackson, but let's get back to the diddler. Okay, so this is the woman who actually was shot in the face at the nightclub on that night in 1999. Let's see what she had to say.
Puffy said, "That's why I shot up the club in New York back in 1999 and let Shine take the fall for it." Let me tell you why that's of utmost importance to me. Because I am the woman who he shot in the face in that December 27th, 1999, Club New York shooting. I have told everyone ad nauseum since then, even the surgeon who did the surgery to take the bullet. I got shot in my face with a 9mm hollow point bullet called a cop killer. I literally have told everyone and never changed what I said. I got pow-powed in the face. I watched him fire the gun. I've said it all this time. Even the surgeon who did my surgery to take out part of the bullet fragments that was aspirating into my lungs and try to remove as many bullet fragments as possible testified in the criminal trial that while they were putting me under, I was screaming, Puffy, pew pew me in the face. He testified in the criminal trial. It is in the record. They all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it. But he paid off the club bouncer named Sharice and all these other people and the club owners with their video to hide the video. That's his MO. I told everybody that. This man almost took my life, has traumatized my life, has caused undue harm, irreparable damage to my life, lied his behind off. I've had all these youngins on the internet harassing me, swearing that I'm making it up that he did it. And look what he did to Little Rod. He threatened him. Oh, you don't think I bust my gun? I shot up the club in Club New York and let Shine take the fall for it. I shot them people. Well. It only took 24 whole years for it to come out. You see this tattoo? This commemorates me getting shot. It took 24 years for him to come out and say it. I've been saying it all along, but y'all pick and choose who y'all want to believe. Not only did he pew me in the face, he also set off a course of harassment against me for the past 24 years. When I tell you the things I went through, there was a time in 2017 and 2018 where I got 7 flats on my BMW. 7, the same tire. In a 2-year span. 7 on the same tire.
And it's always somebody's car, bro. He loves to play car games. Like, you see, just now, all of this came out about Meek Mill. Meek Mill was spiraling on Twitter, and then all of a sudden, he's in a car accident in a brand new car that he never drove before. Her car. He blew up Kid Cudi's car. Oh my gosh.
Tire, and they were all new.
New.
Every time it happened, I had to get a new tire. I have the pictures to prove it. Harassing me. You want to know why? Because prior to Cassie, I was the only person to be victimized by him and then to successfully sue him and get paid. And he had to pay me out of his pocket. He has never gotten over that. Oh, baby. You see this RICO charge that's about to come? This conspiring and pew-pewing up the club and ruining or attempting to ruin my life. As God is my witness, I will not stop until you suffer every single iota of punishment, until I have every second of recompense that you took from me. For every tear that I had to cry or my children had to cry, I am going to get $1 million back from you. I will not stop until you pay the price for what you did to my life. Y'all ain't seen or heard nothing yet.
Period. So, like I was saying, just because that little Stevie J thing, like that little glitch or whatever, allegedly, like, I don't care. There's too many moving pieces here for everything to be a lie. Like, it's just, no. And we know that he likes to do things and surprise people against their will and just take them places and put them in situations, because this is old. This is mad old. This is Exhibit talking about a time, and this was in Superhead's book too, but this is Exhibit talking about a time when he had went out with Diddy or whatever, and they ended up at like a gay club or something. Like, you can hear him say it.
It's to the house because you wanted to go to the club afterwards, right? I was like, okay, cool. So Superhead is with me, you know what I'm saying? Karen is with me, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Superhead.
Yeah. So she takes me. Puffy calls me outside. He's like, hey man, you know, that girl you know about the girl you. I was like, yeah, nigga, yeah, everybody know about. You know what I'm saying? What's happening? You know, he's like, that's the devil, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what you mean that's the devil?
The devil got a pretty mouth.
Yeah, and I was like, what you mean that's the devil? You know, and then he was like, yeah, man, she videotaped you with fingers in the booty.
That's a new
movie. You know
movie.
what I'm saying? I was
the
like,
devil
what?
sucks
Like,
penis.
Yeah, what the f*** are you talking about?
Rewind. I heard a penis and a finger in the ass door. So Puffy tells you that
she will videotape you with fingers in the booty. And I was like, what the f*** does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
confession.
So then I go back in the house and I ask her, what the f*** are you talking about? He
you
said
don't
you're a
ask him?
filmer. No, I did ask him. He's just like, whatever. He went off and did his thing. And I was like,
he limping?
He walked away and a nail fell out his boot.
No, I'm gonna clear this shit up because I'm not gonna have my name. I ain't gonna have my name out there crazy like that.
Go ahead.
I told him what he told me, and she was like, "Oh, she started laughing like a mother." I'll tell you later. So then I was like, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna make a big deal of it, whatever." So then I guess he's had some prior incident with her that he don't want nobody to know about. You know what I'm saying? So we get into the truck. He said, "Let's go to this club." So everybody followed the car. The car is silent. You know what I'm saying? We get to this club, and then we walk in the back way. It's a VIP lounge. Ain't nobody in there. And then, you know, the club is going. It's all jumping. And then I'm sitting there with old girl. He's doing his business. We go down and get a drink. You know, we sitting there bobbing to the music. And then she point over the corner. It's 2 dudes kissing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the f is this? Then it's girls in the club too, and then she pointed another direction. It's another dude over there like butt ass naked dancing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
We take off, man. You know what I'm saying? We leave the club
So you're
directly.
saying
I didn't say peace to nobody.
club
I didn't
was
see
pretty
nobody.
gay.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, this is what happens when you party with Diddy.
Cause P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no.
It's like it's too many people have the same story. Then we have another woman right now. Songwriter Tiffany Red has confirmed that she's getting ready to sue Diddy and several record labels over old records that she wrote for Cassie and she was not paid for. She also made some comments about her career not blossoming because she refused to have sex with certain people. Everybody's lying. I'm telling y'all, we got to do better than this.
I did not sign up for this shit. I was not raised like this. I don't want to do the drugs. I don't want to fuck. You want to know why I don't got a bunch of hits for all y'all that are like, she ain't got no hits? Them hits was behind me laying on my back, bitch. That's why I don't got them records. Because I'm not willing to get fucked. Because I got a daddy that'll hurt you. And I care about my family. So I'm not going to put my family in that position. So I quit. The thing I love. The thing I'm amazing at. The thing that God blessed me with. We don't deserve this, y'all. There's so many people getting hurt just trying to make music that do not deserve this.
Bro, I'm about to cry too. Oh
So there you have it. I'm suing Puff. I'm suing Interscope. I'm suing Epic. I'm suing Bad Boy for all the music that I have written for Cassie that was derailed. I'm suing for my career that they took from me, that I earned, that I worked for. And for all of y'all who don't have the courage to do what I'm doing, to do what Little Rod is doing, to do what Cassie is doing, shut the f*** up.
Period. Everybody can't be lying. So, like she said, for all the naysayers and everybody who wants to have an opinion from behind the scenes, who've never been in these predicaments, who don't know anything about what happens in the industry for real besides what you've seen on YouTube videos and conspiracies, shut up and mind your business. Like, I'm so tired. And it's always the people that have, like, literally, they've only ever had a parasocial relationship with a celebrity or someone with power. Like, they don't know these people directly. Like, you don't know. So you just have to just stop. I'm getting worked up because this is crazy that for so many years people were getting away with this and everything was just being swept under the rug. Like, the fact that it took that long for R. Kelly to really... We grew up watching little skits like on the Boondocks, them making fun of it. Dave Chappelle, I want to piss on you, drip, 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 blah, blah. Like, what was going on? And everybody was just laughing and joking about this. He was really peeing on underage girls. He had people locked up in basements. Like, everybody was making fun of these things and just still working with him and making songs and this all has to crumble. It has to. Too much has been exposed, bro. Like, if we just keep allowing this to happen, man. And then, like, everybody always wants to say somebody's hating or doesn't want to see them make it or doesn't, like, no, like, a lot of times people just care about you and they don't want you to have to go through what they almost went through or they did go through. Like, people have told me, like, oh, you're making the content you make because you didn't make it. You didn't, what? I left. I walked away. Everybody who knows me knows how serious I took music. Like, that was me. Like, everybody, Shelby the singer, Shelby who sing. Like, even now, people still stop me and be like, oh, like, are you still singing or you're not singing no more? Like, people ask me all the time, oh, when's this? It's never coming out. I'm not singing anymore. Like, it's not happening. So, for me to have walked away from that, I didn't get bored. I didn't get pushed out. Like, I just stopped. I was done. I just wish people would listen. Like, I still see so many people now, like, even, like, fighting to get in these circles and these spaces, arguing for celebrities that they never met, arguing and defending people that don't care about them and will sell them the first chance that they get. Oh, you're a fan, you love me, you care about me, send me this, do this for me. Da-da-da-da. Like, it's It's like, it's just so sad to see. And we have to like hold ourselves accountable and look out for the youth. Like there's this whole thing now like where you shouldn't be worrying about what anybody's doing and worried about the generation coming up because we all went through things that we all had. Why are we trying to let them endure anything that we did? Like I was talking about in the first video about being one of those young girls at parties that I shouldn't have been at clubs and events that I shouldn't have been at because I was too young. And even back then you think, oh, like I'm young, I'm lit, older girls they hate, and the old women they bitter. No, they're not. You're a victim. Like you were plotted on and put in spaces that you should not have been in. You were a victim. I was a victim, and I'm trying to make sure nobody else has to go through that after me. Well, yeah, this was part 2. If anything else comes out, we'll get into it. But yeah, I'll definitely look at the Cassie files at some point as well. So if you made it this far and you are not subscribed, what are you doing? Take a minute right now, like the video, subscribe. I am over it. I'm so over it. I appreciate you guys taking time with me as always and caring about what I have to say. It's always amazing that anybody cares about what I have to say. Wow. As soon as I said that, I looked in the corner and saw 444. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here, you guys. I hope everyone is in good spirits and, you know, go unplug and take some time after digesting all of this information. This is a lot to take in and it's real life. Like this stuff is happening to real people. And I know a lot of people can like start to feel helpless or like paranoid even, and just don't let the psychosis take over. Just unplug, you know, stay educated on things. Don't go out, you know, just blind, but don't spend all of your energy on this. Yeah. So I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video.
I'm gonna sip this cup.